Good afternoon, Facebook Live world. As always, I am super busy. You can see me on my phone texting, but it's your time. I'm super excited to be here and spend some time with all of you all to connect and to talk. We're excited to be joining today, to join together today to further our conversation around our recently launched campaign. We're calling it Put Care First. In 2015, we are determined to make sure California has a long-term care system that works for all that need care and for the caregivers that give care. That includes holding the nursing home industry accountable for the lack of oversight that we know all too well worsened the spread of COVID-19. Today, we are joined by an amazing group of guests that I can't wait to have them join us. But first, without further ado, my partner in crime, the man to my, I don't know if he's my left or my right on this screen, but my ride or die, our Executive Vice President for Region 1 and 2, Dereck Smith. Hey, Dereck.
Hey, April, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm great. Good. I'm excited to be here this afternoon. And thank you all for joining us here today in Facebook Land. We have quite a bit of important ground to cover and some significant elements of the caregiving industry we want to lift up on this call today. It's about time to make these, to make some bold moves and hold these employers accountable. Don't you think, April?
I absolutely agree, Dereck. You are absolutely right. And let's just say we're ready to get into it. We are going to go over some of the critical reasons why we are here today, why we are continuing to fight to make sure we put care first and that our long-term care system works. It works for workers, for caregivers, and for our seniors and our family members with disabilities that rely on our long-term care system. That is, so today we're going to walk through how we can collectively work together to stop the issues that so many in our workforce face today. So like I said, let's go ahead and get into it. We all know that the COVID-19 pandemic exposed the deep-rooted nursing home practices, the practices that the industry is built upon, really, that sacrifice the safety and the livelihood of workers, as well as creating unhealthy conditions for the residents, all in the name of higher pockets. The deficiencies in the quality of care have continued to be one of the most urgent and persistent issues throughout this pandemic. And as we know now, facilities with the worst care often saw the most deaths in their facilities. In California, over 50,000 nursing home workers and over 60,000 residents. That's nearly 70% of the occupied beds and facilities. We're talking about a lot of people, a large percentage of folks who live in nursing homes were confirmed COVID-19 cases. And we know that understaffing, a lack of regulatory oversight, and loopholes as big as my head in the system are especially pervasive across the industry today. In light of these urgent issues, we launched Put Care First, a campaign that is meant to transform the nursing home industry as a whole, not just a facility, but the whole damn thing. Our campaign will address industry failures that have engulfed long-term care facilities. And our campaign is built on three specific goals. First, we're going to use the amazing political power that our members have built to overhaul the nursing home regulations that need to start speaking to patients over profits. We need accountability that if we're going to use public dollars in nursing homes, they need to go for care and for safe staffing and for putting care hours first and state budget. We're also going to make sure that number two, we dramatically improve care and worker standards, not just in nursing homes, but also in home care. And we're going to have the most aggressive, badass, kick-ass contract fights over the next year that anybody has ever seen. And number three, we're going to demand a pathway to unionization for every private sector long-term care worker in the state of California so that workers can have a say in improving care and standards. It is through the support of our elected legislative officials that advocate for these goals that we will see radical change. And we have one such senator here with us. I'm really super jazzed and I'm excited to introduce our guest today, Senator Henry Stern. Welcome, Senator.
How you doing, April?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Just working and doing a little caretaking of my own, a little mix these days, legislating and caretaking.
That's right. So what's on your mind today, Senator?
We got, my wife and I finished getting lunch to her folks. So they got fed and we had our reunion last week. It's been a year since we saw my mother-in-law, who's been in a nursing home for the last while. So it's been a beautiful time because I've had a honeymoon basically. It kicked off right at the front end of COVID. So I got married right before it started.
Congratulations.
So I'm so happy every day, but just like the thousands of people you work with, like real life stuff too, and gotta just handle your business and try to take care of your family, everyone around you. But it's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing. So anyway, we're making it, and I want the energy. I want to be around the 2015 crew because this is a vital group of people. Derek, thanks for having me here too. I got to tell you, that's the only thing that keeps me going every day is when I show up there to go help out my folks. All the caretakers, all the workers who are putting their life into this, and we see each other like for real, not like, oh, you're a senator showing up. Nobody knows that, right? It's like, I don't know, just to see the value in what is actually happening there quietly and that people don't even know about. And that battle for dignity has me just, I'm obsessed with it right now. So not to get too heavy right out the gates, but this is big stuff,
Not too heavy at all. At 2015, I'd like to say we lead with love, right? And that is what I'm feeling from you. And the conversations you and I had, we talked a lot over the course of the pandemic. And I felt in you were really driven by the need to do more, the need to not just sit on the sidelines and watch what happened, but to get in the fight. And your desire comes from a place of love, the love for your family members that you see aging, who need your support. And so we're just amazing to call you friend and champion. And I know that we're gonna love on you just like you're gonna love on us, and we're gonna get this thing done.
And then we're gonna make things happen. And then we're gonna put that into work, right? We're gonna take love and put it into work. That's right. That's what's beautiful about it. I got this job that I can do some work and lift. And I gotta tell you, I mean, the one other thing I was gonna say is after leaving the home, Marlo's our IHSS worker, takes care of Joshua. That's the father-in-law who's a troublemaker. watching Carlos go through this thing with his family, who I know is part of all your, like, that side of things too. Like, I'm living the work. And I got to say, this kid's making, I don't know, $14 an hour, living with his cousins, his uncle, his grandma, everybody in, one place, and they lost family. So we're still through this pandemic. It's crazy. It's, things got very real in the care economy. Everyone wants to talk wonky, it's easy to get lost in the numbers, but thanks for getting me in a place to help me roll up my sleeves, because you're giving me a pathway to put all this to work,
It's my pleasure. So why don't we get into a few questions that we got in advance from our members? Dereck, you want to kick us off?
Sure. So, Senator, I know you're working on a couple of bills up in Sacramento. So one of the questions we have is, how will this bill help improve conditions for workers in the nursing home?
All right, so let me just break down with you all. Like, the general strategy is that this year is the year, right? Like, if we're going to get big radical change done, like, we got to go big. We can't do incremental. So we try not to just throw one little bill out there and say, we're going to try to break up, get a little sunlight on the private for-profit nursing home part of the industry, because, that's 3/4 of all the Medi-Cal is going straight into the for-profit side, and we don't know much about what's going on there, and it's very hard to follow the money. But we didn't want to just run that bill and be done. So we try to put a whole package together called the Protect Plan, and it's about prioritizing the responsible ownership, right? So that's the O, but then also the treatment and the equity and the corporate transparency that we need to kind of put a whole protection plan together, not just for the people we're trying to care for, but the people who are doing the caring for you all. And so I think it's a package of 8 or 9 bills we're trying to move through the legislature that also has got to include the budget side of things on the staffing waivers. So, my bill, SB 650, is one piece of the puzzle, which is really trying to shine some sunlight on an industry that doesn't quite tell you what they own and don't own, and people own subsidiaries that no one can quite track. There was a big expose in the Washington Post that kind of blew it all open. But there's a lot of, let's just say, the dollars that taxpayers are putting into care for the ones they love, and for those who care for the ones they love, aren't necessarily getting to the front lines. They're probably ending up in pockets. We're talking hundreds of billions, not like, that the scale of that industry is massive. The level of transaction that's going on every year, it's sort of hard to comprehend, but it's a lot about real estate and, related companies that are sort of co-owned, and tricky legal things that I went to law school to go call people's bluff on. So anyway, we're trying to do our work there, but there's a whole kind of plan going on, and I hope the will is there politically to stand up a little bit against some of the big boys, because they're pretty well heeled.
That's right. They are definitely well heeled, right? They have been using these schemes to make a lot of money over the years. And so what we want to do, and maybe you could talk a little bit about this, is how can we do more to ensure that monies, that public dollars, right? These are public dollars, tax dollars from our federal government, from our state government. How do we make sure that these monies don't just go into the pockets of owners, but that we can get that money into the pockets of the workers? Maybe you could talk a little bit about that before you go.
Well, that's the plan. Let us see your books. And if you got nothing to hide, you got nothing to hide, right?
That's right.
I mean, we got a pretty simple ask, right? We're not even saying we're going to break your company or we want to change your business model. We're just saying, hey, if you're using our money, then we want to know where it went. And we want to know how it got spread. And we want to know, for instance, okay, you own the real estate, but you're renting the property to yourself. Okay, so you, the tenant and the landlord, how much you paying for your rent every month? And is that even close to the fair market value? Or are you paying a penny a month maybe? Or are you paying like $100 million a month? They over under it too. It's a little tricky, but it's not how you and I go through spending our money, especially what they call a related party. So it's sort of all in the family. And we gotta, it can't be that kind of cozy corporate arrangement. Like this work is too darn sacred and the money's too valuable to waste.
That's exactly right, Senator. Well, we want to thank you. I know you are a busy man. Thanks so much for the time. I hope you and your wife continue to do well. And I pray for your parents and for your in-laws. And I get to see you. Hopefully, I'll get to see you soon. And
we got a little something on the horizon too. We've been doing the caretaking, but come September, hopefully, I'm gonna be a dad too. So we'll see.
Oh, congratulations, Senator.
It's been a busy COVID. I know for everybody. So maybe when I see you, I'll have a
Mazel tov.
Yes, God willing.
Mazel tov. God bless you, Senator. Thanks so much.
Congrats.
All right, you take good care.
Thank you.
All right, I love that guy. And I love the next person that is going to come and join us. Super excited that our amazing member leader from the Sacramento area, she's a nursing home worker, and she is always full of fire. There she is, Jesus Figueroa. Hey, Jesus. Jesus.
I got
now
it.
I can hear you.
Yes, thank you. Well, I'm learning technology nowadays. Oh my goodness. My name is Jesus Figueroa Cacho. I am a healthcare worker, frontline. I work Westview Healthcare. So I am excited to be invited for this event here, and I want to say thank you again. So being as a frontline healthcare worker in a facility, we've been working most of the time understaffed, and then when the heat of the pandemic, it was we have to pull strength that we don't even have sometimes. The patient care was not there, so that's why we here. So we want to make sure that my sign say here, put care first. Put care first. That's what we want. Yes, so we wanna. April was saying, if all the money that is coming, the federal money and the state money to give a good care for these patients, and then so they need to recognize the frontline workers has to be recognized too. Like in California, you can't even afford to buy a house for yourself. We work so hard. We got to be able to afford a house.
That's right.
Yes. So and then the conference that we went to, the campaign in the Capitol last time, that was a wonderful experience. Learning about some of the co-worker from a different facility that they said they was having hard time, difficult time, that sometimes they will be short in the kitchen. They didn't have no equipment, no supplies. They were short of staff, and they didn't have no soap to wash the dishes. Do you imagine, in a facility they didn't have no soap to wash the dishes in the middle of the pandemics? So they put in the people's life in danger, the patients, the workers, and the family. So we need to change that. So hopefully our senator will help us change that. We need change.
That's right. I told y'all, Jesus is full of fire.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's right. Well, thank you so much, Jesus, for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to you, Dereck, for our closing remarks.
Great. Thanks, April. Thanks, Jesus, and thanks to the Senator for those powerful remarks. This last year has more than proven the essential nature of the long-term care industry, as members and non-members alike have been working tirelessly in the wake of a deadly virus and the urgent need to make changes in this industry. Time and time again, have we seen the onslaught of abuses of power to the long-term care industry. Corporations like Bruce Health, a web of convoluted link LLC, like the Senator said, and corporate shells that manage 81 facilities and houses over 7,000 residents throughout California, have retained and confirmed COVID cases rate 20% higher than the state average. Yet we have continued to witness Brewer's Health lack of action to put well-being of its residents and workers first. It is unfortunate and all too common in this industry. It is through the efforts of the Put Care First campaign that we put a stop to this relentless oppression against our workers. Alongside elected leaders like Senator Stern, who joined us today, the vast amount of members propelling this movement forward, and the 125,000 nursing home workers in the state, we invite you to join us in this task. We demand structural and legislative change to enforce regulatory scrutiny at the highest quality of care for residents and patients. At the national level, we are demanding that Congress pass President Biden's Americans Job Plan with the investment of $400 billion in caregivers. This investment would mean over 1 million good union jobs for Blacks, Brown, Asian, and immigrant workers who are the majority of the care workforce. It will mean accessible and affordable home care for families so our parents or grandparents and people with disability can access high quality, affordable care and live at home with dignity and independence. It will mean thriving and resilient communities. We're lifting both of these demands because it's time we all put care first. And some of you might be wondering how you can take action. So on this May 1st, it's International Workers' Day. SEIU members and not yet union members will join leaders of the We Are Home Coalition for a national day of action to demonstrate the power, resilience, and strength of essential workers and highlight the contribution of immigrants, refugees, and people of color in America. Join us for a day of action across California. You can contact your organizer or check out the link that we just put on the chat to find an event near you, or go to www.mobilize.us/SEIU 2015. Again, check it with your organizer or take a picture of the link, and join us on this Labor Day. Thank you all for joining us today on our Facebook Live, and have a great evening.
All right, put care first.
Bye, everybody.